Hey up everyone, it's Rich here from Only Vans. For this video, well, I'm still at the stage of where I'm a bit apprehensive and a bit nervous doing these, so you'll have to bear with me, but the purpose of today's video is I want to talk you through what our first month's been like being in the van. And I suppose it comprises really of two questions. Is number one, can you live in a caravan? Number two is, can you live in a caravan? And I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit of time. So we got the caravan on the 15th of January and today is the 15th of February, so exactly one calendar month. So it's not all been a world of candy floss and lollipops. There's been good things and there's been some amazing things and there's been some not ideal things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the negatives first of all, and then we'll go into the positives, and then we'll move into a bit of a summary at the end. So things that we have struggled with perhaps is washing and ironing and clothes and stuff like that, because if you think that perhaps a lot of people have got an ironing board, and you know, we've only got the awning sorted last weekend, so we've not really had the space to do a lot of ironing. I like to wear, you know, a shirt or whatever, or a polo shirt, and you know, there's fantastic facilities on site, but you know, we've not really mastered using them yet. And because we've still got my house in Stockport, we've been a little bit, you know, sort of going there once a week or whatever for the day or for a night, and just trying to get through as much washing as was possible. Really, we've still got quite a bit of learning to do when it comes to that. So for those of you that have been in the country for the last 10 days, the weather has been absolutely horrendous. So when it's been windy, you know, even though it's a massive caravan and we've got an all-weather awning, it is, you know, you feel, you know, the big gusts of wind, and you can hear the rain and all that sort of stuff, and you hear the awning blowing and stuff like that. So it can be quite disruptive, really, if you're a light sleeper. Now, I'm a bit of a light sleeper. Lisa isn't. She's a bit of a snorer, which makes me a light sleeper, but you can hear that. So we're looking forward to sort of getting into springtime, getting into summertime, when the weather perhaps hopefully should be a little bit better now. Another thing is when it comes to cooking, so now that we've got the awning set up, we've got the air fryer, we've got the soup maker, the slow cooker. We've pretty much been living off toasties for the last 3 or 4 days. I'm a big advocate of a toasty, but in a caravan there's not a massive amount of food prepping space, so we brought like a kitchen unit or whatever from Go Outdoors. So we're going to try and prep more food outside in the awning, obviously when it gets a bit warmer, because it's still technically winter, and just trying to find a way that we can sort of utilise that a little bit more, really. TV signal is absolutely mince. It's absolutely dreadful. I don't know whether it's just our van or whether it's our aerial. I think we had a new aerial put in under warranty. But the TV signals, you know, it's dreadful. You know, we get a better signal through my internet on my mobile phone through a Fire Stick than we do through the TV. So we're going to start looking into signal boosters and all that sort of stuff. When it comes to signal boosters and all that sort of stuff, if you've got any suggestions, recommendations, hints, tips, please throw them in the comments, because I absolutely need your help with that. And it's just, the final thing is, it's just a bit of a pain filling up your water. So we've got 2 aqua rolls, and we've got an onboard water tank, and the Waste Master, and the toilet thing. So it's just a bit of a pain doing that, but I suppose it's the same as doing any sort of chores that you would do at home, really. Obviously, I'm not sure whether I've told you guys, but I don't do the toilet. I use it for number ones only, but you know, the ability to use it was on the pretense that I didn't have to empty it, because it's just not. I've got a bit of a weak stomach, so I try to keep well away from it. So if ever we do a video on how to use the toilet, you might finally get Lisa on the screen for that. So moving on to the things now which are good. You know, so you know, associating caravans and things like that with being on holiday. So every time we finish work, you come back home and you do feel like you're on holiday. You know, driving onto the pitch or driving onto the campsite and all that stuff. So it's absolutely amazing. You know, so it feels like you are on holiday, and we've spent we're in Manchester for the next couple of nights now, or next couple of nights I think. But we've been in it now for sort of 26, 27, 28 consecutive nights, so the novelty is absolutely not worn off. So we probably had a usual family's worth of holidays in it straight away. So absolutely in love with it, made up with it, wouldn't change it for the world. And along with that, is it's essentially it's home from home really, and I think that's the most important thing about having a caravan and spending loads of time in it, is making sure that there's nothing that you can't do at the van that you can do at home, because ultimately you've got to be comfortable. My brother-in-law always says if we go night fishing, he'll always say make sure you've got a comfy bed and you've got a warm sleeping bag. He says because if you're cold and you're uncomfortable, then you're not enjoying yourself and you're not fishing properly. And that's exactly the same with your caravan, is make sure that anything that you want to do at home you can do here. So we've got board games, TV, the Nintendo Switch and all that sort of stuff, so we've got it all. Make sure that it is a home from home, because it's a campsite. It's like being in it's obviously in the countryside, or certainly more on the countryside than Stockport is. So that's nice, and you feel a little bit out of the rat race a little bit more and all that sort of stuff. So because you're in the countryside, it's a lot darker, so the stars are brighter and the moon's brighter, so all that romantic stuff that people like to think about, it's not my cup of tea particularly, but the romantic side and the romantic element of it is really, really nice. And for those of you that have camped a lot, there's always a fantastic sense of community when you're walking around. So every person that you walk, if you see him, you say hello and all that sort of stuff. And the great thing about a caravan is it's the only time that you can ever walk around at 8 o'clock in the morning in your pyjama bottoms holding a bag full of dog poo and be having a conversation with an absolute stranger, hungover. Any other sort of environment that wouldn't be sort of socially acceptable or allowed. So to summarise, is I honestly think I could quite easily never ever live in a house again. I suppose that sort of leads on to what our plans are. So we, from our trailer tent, we decided in sort of November time when we had COVID that we wanted to get a caravan, and then it was me brother-in-law's mum who said, if that was me, I'd look to try and sort of stay in that as much as possible. So we started looking at caravans on YouTube and stuff like that. So as part of that, we must have watched hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of videos of people that were doing caravan vlogs and all that sort of stuff. So people watching us now, we probably watched, if you've ever done more than 2 or 3 videos, we probably absolutely definitely watched you. And we made a decision that what we wanted to do is that we're going to start scaling back, take everything back to absolute basics, reduce our outgoings massively, and we're going to try and do the whole campsite warden thing. I think that's what we want to do. So this year we're going to get the van paid off. Coming into the new year, next year, the plan, touch wood, is campsite wardens for February, March time, and then come September, October, November time is either take the van or go and do like a long stay Airbnb and just go and work 8 months in this country, go and do 4 months abroad, and do what you would do when you're retired, but when you're young, and when you can enjoy it. That's what we sort of talk about. That's what we want to do. So get the caravan, get the van paid off, and then we want to try and convert a transit van so that we can go travelling and all that sort of stuff. So the answer to the question ultimately is it possible to live in a van? Yeah, it is. It's really, really simple. I suppose you've just got to be interested in it in the first place. Once again, for anyone that's watched the video, if you could like it, comment, share, subscribe. So, we've had a pretty good start really. So we're over 100 subscribers now. I think we're 220 at the time of recording. So we've got the URL and stuff like that. So if you could subscribe and click the bell notification so you can hopefully watch us on this journey. It's not going to be a short-term journey. It's one that hopefully that you guys will come on with us for years and years and years. But I hope you enjoy your evening. Thanks very much for your time. See you in a bit.
Yeah. I don't know if you want the...
Does the light make my ginger look beard though? My beard look ginger.
Or auburn and ginger.
Auburn sounds pretty bloody ginger.